So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another quick episode of Unplugged TV here in sunny, hot Australia. 37 degrees today, and the car is running in charge mode and normal mode. Totally unusual. I wanted to do a test and see when the engine actually turns off in charge mode. I heard it turns off at about 80% state of charge, but I would like to test and prove that, of course. Okay, we are at 77.4% and we are charging the car while driving. So the car is idling in charge mode now, and the battery gets charged with 5.8 kilowatts only. This is all we push into the battery while driving at the moment, and we are at 79.3% state of charge. So we are now on top of the hill here, and now we are doing 100 kilometers per hour. The car is in B0 and we are coasting down this hill here, and we are at 79% state of charge, and the battery gets only charged with 5.1 kilowatts. This is all the battery takes. But now I will put the car in B5 and you will see the charge power goes up to 9, 11, 12, 13. So this is quite interesting. At 80% state of charge, the battery gets only charged with 5.1 kilowatts while driving. But when you do a B5 brake, it takes the full power, so 13, 14 kilowatts. I'd like to do another test and see what the power meter says here. Yeah, 35. Let's see what the motors say when I do a B5 again. And B5. Yeah, look at the motors. 30 kilowatt of brake power. But it seems like the battery takes only a portion of it. 81% state of charge, and the engine is still running. It's still charging up the battery. So it's not like it's stopping at 80%. I will keep the car in charge mode and see when the engine actually turns off, and if the engine turns off, and we'll let you know. And we are at 83.7% and the engine is still running and charging the battery. So I'm not sure when actually the engine turns off. I heard it's on 80%, but it's on 84 almost and it's still charging. So, but I think now we're coming into an area where it's fairly inefficient to do that, because the battery only takes 4.5 kilowatts it takes. So not a huge amount of power. There we go, 84%. Still charging. Region power is still at almost 25 kilowatts. And we are now at 85% state of charge, and the engine is still running and charging. So it definitely does not turn off at 80%, it keeps charging. Has anyone actually charged the battery with the engine completely, so to 100%? I don't know, it doesn't make sense to do that unless you're driving, but yeah, it doesn't look like it's turning off itself. So 46 degrees was obviously the parking temperature, because we had the engine running and the car was parked for 1.5 hours. But now on the highway back again, it has decreased to 40 and it stays on 40. So that's probably the outside temperature anyway. And the battery temperature is 29 and 37. So cooling obviously is working. So up until 85% state of charge, the engine was still running and recharging the battery while driving the car. So I thought I read somewhere it charges only until 80% and then turns off until it goes down a little bit and then it turns on again. So it keeps the battery around 80%. But this one was on 85% and it was still going and recharged the battery while driving. So I'm not sure what the actual threshold is to turn off the engine while charging the car. I don't want to try again, it's just wasting petrol. Interesting with this test was that the charging power by the engine was actually throttled down at about 75%. It charged only with 3 to 5 kilowatts. It usually charges between 8 and 12 kilowatts, but the charging power was already throttled down. But when I did the B5 braking, we had the full power, the full regen capacity available, so the brake power was still there. So obviously the electronic turns off the charging by the engine to leave enough free capacity in the battery for your regen braking. So you still have the comfort of one pedal driving and enough energy left in the battery to actually take the regen power. That's why they throttle down the charging power by the engine, which makes totally sense. So that's a smart programming. That's what I like. Alright guys, we still got 40 degrees outside. I don't think it gets any cooler today. We are on our way home, and that's pretty much the little test I wanted to do today in this heat. And guys, as always, thanks for watching, thanks for your support. This is Andy from Unplugged EV Australia, signing off. You stay charged, and we will see us in the next video, of course. Okay, see you soon guys, bye bye.